Best of 3 podcast. I am StillJustMike.
I'm Stevan Petrusic.
I am Alex Kim.
And with us today, we have Matt from Extra Life. Matt, how are you doing?
Pretty good.
Hey.
It's a good day.
How's everything been going so far?
Generally pretty good. Some hiccups. They got smoothed over. We're good.
Okay.
The event's bumping though. We got a lot of people.
There's a lot of people here.
That's very, honestly, look at all the people playing games.
Even City TV came in today.
That's true.
Yeah, that is true.
It's crazy.
So guys, on Best of 3, this is an eSports podcast where we talk about all different topics in eSports. We like to bring things back far enough, different topics for everybody to understand. Then we hone in on the finer topics together. We were fortunate enough to be invited on stage by Extra Life today to have a conversation. I want to know, guys, since you guys have got here, what have you guys been up to?
I joined the Smash tournament that I think has started, but I haven't played in yet.
No, the Smash
right
tournament
after
is starting
us.
at 6, so
So we're good.
You got some time.
Awesome. So I am going to play in that, and I've been looking at everybody else playing and stuff, and I took some pictures and videos, so I've been having a good time myself,
Beautiful. Alex, what have you been up to?
I've also joined the Smash tournament. Obviously, I asked if we could push the tournament a little bit back because of the podcast. So hopefully I can make it past the first round.
This was you.
Good luck.
Awesome.
They were gracious enough to,
Accommodate. Absolutely. Gracious enough to push it.
Yes, exactly. So
and
I
then
appreciate
Matt,
that.
I've seen you kind of here and there actually participating in some of this stuff. What have you been doing?
I was actually in our first tournament of the day, which was a local indie dev had made a game, and we were just showing it off and having lots of fun. And then my friend showed up, and so we've been playing Villainous.
Very
what's
cool.
That?
It's a Disney board game where you play villains.
Oh, cool.
What do you do as the villains?
You attempt to actually complete the task that you are doing in your movie.
So you try to like take over the world essentially, or whatever it is. That's awesome.
That's so cool. So tell me a little bit about the game that you actually played. Like, who were you? What did you have to do?
In the tournament or
in that
Villainous?
specific game? In Villainous.
In Villainous, I don't really watch Disney movies.
Okay.
So what did he look like?
I was trying to take over New Orleans.
Nice.
And so each character plays very differently. So they each have it's very asymmetrical, different mechanics.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to get cards into an additional deck that I have so that I can draw them out so that I can play them for free and get different effects.
Okay.
So I got about halfway, and they're gonna win while I'm up here.
That's the point. All right, so guys, this here again is an esports podcast, and today we're going to be talking about Extra Life in particular. All right, we're going to be going over some of the stuff that Extra Life's been doing, some of the stuff that they're doing here today, and just kind of informing and educating about what it is that Extra Life does. So I want to discuss today again charity and esports. We're going to do that with Matt. Matt, can you tell us how you got into Extra Life? What did you do to get here?
I was in a course on game development, and my instructor came in one day and he was like, "Have you guys heard of Extra Life?" No. Do you want to play video games all weekend to raise money for the local children's hospital? And we were like, so a normal weekend except with charity.
Right.
And then he got upset because we were supposed to be doing homework.
But you weren't upset.
No. So yeah, that's how I got involved. I did 1 year raising money for McMaster in Hamilton, and then I moved to Toronto, and this is now my 7th year.
7 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
7 years. Yeah, that's a long time. How long has Extra Life actually been doing this?
This is the 11th year.
11th year. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So you guys have been crushing it for over a decade.
Yeah, and thank you for making me feel old.
So you should
feel great.
You should feel great. That's awesome.
Yeah, really.
11 years. That's amazing.
Yeah.
I actually read something today too that you guys have to date raised about $2 million. Is that correct?
So for sick kids, Extra Life in Canada has raised 1.8 million. The goal by the end of today should be about 2 million.
2 million. Okay, wow.
The end of today.
Yeah. Yeah.
200K incoming.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It's a big day for us.
It's huge. 25 hours, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a long day.
Yeah.
We're just getting started, so.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
So can you tell us, all of us, about what Extra Life is?
So if anybody here would know that it's a charity marathon.
Yeah.
You play games for 24 hours, except we're in Canada, so we have daylight savings this weekend, which we're turning it into 25.
That's why it's 25
Got
hours.
it. Yeah, I was curious about that.
Yeah. But yeah, you play games and collect pledges from people through the website to raise money for your local children's hospital.
Okay.
Awesome.
And so these local children's hospitals, they're all, from what I understand, through the, what's that called?
Through Children's Miracle Network.
That's it, Children's Miracle Network. Can you tell us a little bit more about Children's Miracle Network?
Yeah, so it's the organization that collects money and provides funding to all, I think it's 175 children's hospitals in North America now. That number went up a few weeks ago when Saskatchewan opened theirs. So yeah, the way Extra Life plays into that is the money that we raise goes to the hospitals as unrestricted funds. So whereas like government money comes with strings attached, this money must be spent on this. Whatever the hospital needs money for, unrestricted money, they can just pull in.
I see.
So right now, any money being raised here in Toronto is basically going to tearing sick kids down and rebuilding it.
Oh, very cool. I didn't even know that was happening.
Yeah. So
There's a ton of construction happening right there. I live close by there, and the construction there is bad. So
I guess
it's a $1.3 billion project.
Oh, wow. That's
massive.
fantastic,
Yeah,
though.
absolutely. No, it's
I
all
can't
for a
wait
good
to
cause.
see the renovations and all the great new things that they bring into the building.
The stuff that I have heard is planned is just insane.
Yeah.
Like absolutely crazy.
And
If
so
anybody
Children's
needs
Miracle
it, it's
Network
them.
puts money into that. Extra
Yeah.
Life, again, puts money into sick kids specifically here,
Yes.
from what I understand. But Extra Life is
Extra-
multitudinous. There's lots of
There's
Extra
like
Lives.
60,000 of us.
That's
playing.
a lot of people.
Yeah.
Wow.
Is it a global thing?
That's fantastic.
You can play from anywhere. On Thursday night, I was talking to a guy who is raising money for critical funding, and he lives in Vietnam.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Very
he was just
cool.
like, "Can I do this?" Sure.
Yes, you can.
So these are essentially people who are focusing on charity through gaming all over the world.
Yes.
Okay. Why gaming specifically?
That's a great question.
You want from me or
Yeah.
okay? For me, gaming is a huge part of my life.
Okay.
It's my work. It's my main entertainment. It's the way I calm down. It's the way I get amped up.
Right.
It's
the miracle drug, gaming.
it's the way. Like I have friends all over the world who I grew up with and have moved,
Yeah.
and it's the way I communicate with them. I drop into an MMO and hang out with my best friend because she's in Australia and it's hard to talk to her otherwise.
Right.
That's fair.
So if I can get a little bit more specific, why gaming and charities?
Yeah.
It started out very much as like one girl in Austin, and gaming made sense there because she enjoyed games. It was something she could do, and now for beyond that, it's it works a lot like why running, why dancing, why anything else. This is something that it's the largest entertainment industry in the world now.
Yeah.
And people enjoy it. Why can't we turn that into a charity marathon?
Of course.
Why haven't we done it?
It makes sense, too, right? Because gaming brings people together.
Yeah.
It's an interactive experience.
Yeah, the whole gamers are antisocial is obviously not true.
Well,
Yeah, look at
communities
us.
are one of the most important parts of gaming.
Exactly.
It's in any game, really. You can see that the communities are all different, but they all come together. So
Yeah, all you have to do to see that is like hang out on Reddit for a little while, or go to an Overwatch viewing party or something.
Right.
When there's a tournament going on, and it's huge, and there's great groups of people just like hanging out and enjoying games, even when they're not playing them.
Definitely.
So
All right.
perfect fit. There we go.
There you go. So I want to talk a little bit about charitable efforts inside esports, because again, we are an esports podcast, and I know that Extra Life focuses a lot on gaming, but I find that the Venn diagram of gaming and esports kind of goes together quite a bit.
Definitely overlaps, yeah.
So in what ways can you speak to that Extra Life has incorporated esports into events?
So there's been a few smaller projects, but last year we had a big event where a bunch of PUBG streamers each got some time where they streamed for, I think it was 12 hours each.
Wow.
Still not
and
a
that
short
was-
amount of time.
Yeah.
And that was a week, and it was just one logged off and another logged on, and it was an awesome thing to watch.
Stream-a-thon.
On the other end of the scale, last week I was hanging out in our local, one of the local Microsoft stores.
Yeah.
And they were running a Halo 5 tournament, and I hung out there, and they got to play with people at other stores all
cool.
across
Okay,
North America.
cool.
So like it works at both extremes. You can have huge events with professional teams and organizations, and then you can just have like two guys sitting at a computer in a local store yelling at those people in New York who are currently beating them. You know?
Have you guys ever had like a charity tournament where the winners get to choose where the money goes or what organization it goes to?
I've seen a couple of tournaments organized like that. Nothing that we here in Toronto have been involved in.
It's all funneling specifically toward one place. Yeah.
Because of what our focus is, we're gonna raise money for Extra Life as opposed to some other charity. But I have seen a couple of times when that's been done.
I'd be curious if between different Extra Life guilds, if there have ever been, tournaments
That would be
between
fun.
those, right?
That would be cool.
It's been talked about. It's just logistics and getting it organized.
Well, you know what? I'm going to put it out there right
Yes,
now that
all the other Extra
everyone,
Life
let's
guilds,
put our
you know that
energy
a
out
little
there.
bit,
Let's
okay?
make it
Yes,
happen.
Toronto.
Toronto, we're calling you out, everybody else.
I mean, I'm not going to be participating in any tournament because I would just lose. But yeah, no, like I'm sure Chris can get
But
a
you
couple of
lose
guys
for
right.
a good cause.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
no,
I would do it. What game would you play?
If it had to be any game in a tournament.
Yeah.
any game in a tournament. I mean,
setting.
I'm old. I haven't really been competitive since like Quake and Unreal Tournament.
I mean, those tournaments exist.
I know
still
they
do.
do. I'm just old and not nearly as good as I used to be. So stuff like that, and then the other stuff that I play that's kind of competitive is like really slow strategy games.
Okay.
Okay.
So stuff like Paradoxes. Yeah, Villainous, card games, tabletop games definitely. But if I'm on the computer, stuff like Europa Universalis and Crusader Kings, which are
Crusader Kings is good.
like 30-hour game.
Yeah.
Sure. Cool.
A 30-hour game.
Yeah, it's like
Yep.
Civ. You ever play Civ?
Yes, I have.
You can leave a Civ game
Yeah.
and come back like 3 days later and continue playing, and eventually your whole game will last like 40 to 50
Well,
hours.
in a tournament setting, it'd
Yeah,
be-
not great in a tournament.
No, it would be great because Extra Life does 24-hour events.
Yeah.
Well,
so
there you
it would
go.
actually be
Oh,
fantastic.
true.
The longer it goes, the more money you
We
make.
can get a whole game of Risk in. That's perfect. Let's play Monopoly, guys. Let's do it.
We can finish a game.
Yeah, we usually pull out stuff like Monopoly and Life
Yeah.
at like 9 a.m. because we're all tired.
That's great.
about as smart as we can be.
I like that. Actually, you know what? On that note, are there any stories from any of the events that you've participated in?
Yeah, share some stories with us. I want to
Yeah.
know more.
I mean, we've had some I don't know, stories. Last year we had Kate Drummond, who's a voice actor and actor.
She's familiar.
That does sound familiar.
She was the voice actor for, I believe I was there. That was at the Hive, correct?
That was.
Yeah. She's a voice actor for who? I can't quite remember.
For a long list of things. She's done a lot of work.
All right.
But I had the joy of introducing or being one of the players when we first introduced her to her first tabletop role-playing game.
Oh, cool. What game was it?
It was Tales from the Loop. So
cool.
like 1980s kids adventure movie type game. And she sat down. She's like, I don't know how to play. It's improv, but when you say, can I do this? You ask the dice and they tell you.
The dice will tell you.
That's really cool.
She just she loved it and was
Very
great.
D&D.
Yeah, yeah.
But like set in a Stranger Things almost kind of world. Sounds
Yeah,
like.
Stranger Things or Goonies or like The
This
Navigator.
game sounds awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right?
it is.
I want to play this.
It is. It is just amazing.
And you said again, that's Tales from the
Tales from the Loop.
From the loop. Okay.
All right, cool. Sorry, so continue with your story.
Well, no, just like she sat down, she grabbed the first character she saw, and she's like, "It says I'm a troublemaker." And yeah, that was the character she was playing, was our troublemaker, and she just like walked right into it. She named her character Big T, I think.
All right.
That's
And
a
just,
sweet
like,
name.
Every time she wanted to do something, she's like, "Can I have a pocket knife?" Yeah. What are you going to use it for? And just like, it was just so much fun playing with her.
The troublemaker,
I feel
Big
like-
T with a pocket knife.
Yeah.
Exactly. I feel like if I were to play one of those games, I would try and take like the tamest route possible. Like I'm trying to just live like
So
a
the
middle-aged
bookworm.
like, dad's life, right?
Like that game from Rick and Morty.
I do know what you're talking about.
Yeah, where you play
Yeah,
as
it's
like a
simulating
regular
life, yeah.
person.
Yeah, I do remember that. But like, I would have like, I'll call myself Big T. Does Big T have a pocket knife? Well, yes, he does. Okay, Big T is going to open up his mail, and he's going to read his bills.
He's going to read his bills and be upset.
Yeah. Now, how sad am I? Let's roll 2d6. All right, cool.
Too real.
Too real. So I want to talk a little bit about partnerships. Because then obviously the biggest news that people may or may not have heard is that Extra Life has most recently partnered with Complexity Gaming. Involving streaming and providing funding and visits, to me, most importantly, from pro players to hospitals and that kind of thing. I want to know how did something like that come about, and how would something like that come about again?
So something at that scale gets done at the national level.
Yeah.
So the team either here in Vaughan at CCHF or in Salt Lake City at CMN would try to find those partners,
right,
and work with them to figure out how we can partner in the most effective way. But then at the guild level, we try to find local partnerships like here.
Right.
And get what we can. So, we partnered with Waves and they agreed to host us.
Yeah.
Which is awesome.
That's fantastic.
So a lot of that, the way individuals can help with stuff like partnership with Complexity is if I know someone at an organization that might be useful, I just pass it on to our national leadership team, and I'm like, hey, this is somebody who you might want to talk to. And then I wait. Right.
The waiting game.
Yeah. Because I can't actually negotiate at the national level.
Mm-hmm. So does each Extra Life guild have its own like outreach person?
As far as I can tell, my actual position here is unique to Toronto.
Okay.
Partially it's because we have a fairly large team. There's 6 of us on leadership, so we can specialize a little more. Partially just because my skill set is pretty focused.
Right.
I'm good at talking to people.
That's a good skill to have.
It's useful at times, yeah. But yeah, we all try to reach out to whether it's everything from local gaming stores to esports teams, just we all have the ability to reach out and help make local partnerships alongside our hospital.
Nice.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, no, I like that a lot. So can we speak a little bit more about what Complexity is doing now? Like the partnership happened earlier in October, but what has happened since its inception?
I'm not 100% sure what has happened, like what they've actually been doing beyond what has been announced.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to more announcements on like specific stream dates or support. Even like being able to have some video of them going in and meeting with kids or anything like
that'd be
the same as
fantastic.
any other sports team, right? Like you can or any other sporting organization. You can go in and like these are athletes. These are
If anything, they're just as big or even bigger, especially to kids nowadays. Like imagine your favorite Fortnite streamer coming into your hospital and, telling you everything's going to be okay. That's huge.
Hang out and play games with the kids
just
for
hang out and,
an hour. Yeah.
Be a pal.
Yeah.
Right?
That
That's
would be
awesome.
massive, I think.
That would be great. Yeah. Have there been any other kind of partnerships in the past that Extra Life's seen?
We have a bunch of really good partners. Everyone from Rooster Teeth, who raises an absolutely insane amount of money every year,
Right.
to Wizards of the Coast.
Oh, wow.
Just they had 4 of their streamed shows face off, and whoever raised the most money, the characters from the show. So the characters that the people were playing, are now canon characters in one of the D&D settings.
Cool.
So they're going to be in a book.
Wow.
And it was just like
That's a sweet partnership.
Yeah. And it was like, okay, so I think that raised like $60,000.
Amazing.
Like it was.
That's so cool.
It was insane.
And actually, one other thing, I realized that as we speak on the day of recording, Complexity, this partnership, they are currently streaming for Children's Miracle Network. Like, there's a whole stream event going on.
It's happening right now.
Yeah, literally right now.
Yeah.
As we speak. Right now.
So go check out that stream. Anybody out there? Yeah.
Well, absolutely. Okay, and then I want to know, as somebody who does outreach, what kind of things would you look for in a potential partnership?
Oh, that's a good question.
I generally look for the ability to provide something unique.
Yeah.
So whether that's a venue, whether that's an event, so like our partnership with EGLX means we can show up at EGLX and work through them.
Yeah.
Partnerships. So I'm looking for somebody who, when we're working with them, it's something different.
Right.
Everything from going to a local store and running a local card tournament to being at Waves and being up on stage, or going to a con and having booth space and the ability to be up on stage and talk and bring in some of the streamers who support us to talk about their experiences. So it depends a lot on what you can offer and what we can offer in return.
Right.
And then it's a lot of like sitting down in meetings and figuring out logistics.
The not so fun stuff.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a lot of that behind the scenes as well. It's not all fun and games. There's some actual work to be
Well,
done.
it's like they say,
fun and games.
it's not about the end goal. It's all about the journey.
It's all about the fun and games. Okay, and then the last thing that I kind of want to move into, and I think we can speak about this one a lot for all of us, is what eSports can do specifically to get better involved in charity
This is a good
work and
question.
in the development of this, right? Like looking around and seeing all the people playing, like I want to see more of that, and I want to know how we can make that happen. So I have a list in front of me here of different sectors or different sections of esports that I want to know what can those specific parties do? Those kind of stakeholders. So I want to know, like, tournament organizers. Let's start with them. What can tournament organizers do to increase the amount of charity in their events?
I mean, first of all, like, if I'm gonna shoot the moon here,
Please.
run a charity tournament, run events. Otherwise, you can just like bring in someone like Extra Life or Child's Play and just have them be able to talk, be able to do their outreach at your event. And like for us, that being able to talk to players and being able to talk to people who show up at events to watch is a big deal, because those are the people who were going to sign up to play for Extra Life. So I'm quite happy. I don't need a big tournament with like $10,000 going to my charity.
Right.
If I can sign up a bunch of people who are then going to raise $100 each.
Right. Okay.
So it's about the not necessarily the number. I mean, obviously the dollar amount is important.
Yeah, and it looks great, and
Yes.
and I love seeing those big top line numbers.
Right.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
like
about getting more people.
Exactly. I'll take a
involved
whole
in
bunch of
awareness.
little
Community,
numbers.
there it comes
Yeah,
again.
exactly.
And that's the thing. Like Extra Life is very much a community, and since we do it year round, there's a very interesting feel to the people that do this all the time, and it's just absolutely phenomenal people.
Do you find that a lot in these kinds of game days? Do you find a lot of repeat customers, essentially, people who come to every single game day to participate?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like specifically the tabletop people. Like I probably could have named most of them off before they
your
showed up.
crew, though. Yeah.
Yeah. Straight up. I'm a tabletop gamer. I know those people. Our guild members, the people like our volunteers. I had a pretty good idea of who was showing up and who wouldn't.
Right.
Same with like when we're working an event, it's like who's going to be here? Here's who's available because they've said so, and they're really reliable. And like I know these people. They're my friends beyond just being people I can call on when I need somebody to work a booth.
Fantastic.
Cool.
You know what I'd like to see, actually? I would love to see like a charity-run tournament where maybe like some sort of organization gives a donation of a certain amount, and like percentage of it goes to the prize pool, and then percentage of it gets donated from the winner's name.
I would love to see that.
Yeah, that would be really
That would be
cool.
a cool mix of esports and a charity, not full-blown charity tournament, but still with some prize
With
pool.
it
That'd be cool.
involved. Yeah,
Yeah, and the
absolutely.
player can even put that on taxes or whatever as like a donation
that-
because
that
it's under
comes
their
with it,
name
too.
or whatever. That would be really cool.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think there would be a lot. What should I say here? There aren't a lot of people who would not be behind that. Like,
Yeah, I think
competitors specifically, they would
100%.
love to see
Oh, yeah.
a certain amount of their prize pool go toward charity. Nobody would have a problem with that.
Yeah, I think so too.
I hope. That's my hope.
The hope that people are naturally good.
Exactly.
Well, coming from a competitor, I could tell you that I would love to do something like that.
There you go. Yeah. Okay, so let's move on from tournament organizers. I want to talk about the next kind of step down. Let's talk about teams specifically. What can teams do to foster charity work?
Part of it is a lot like with the tournament organizers, just being able to speak about it.
Yeah.
You can encourage your competitors when they're doing if they're streaming, encourage them to talk about their charities, to give a portion of their income from streaming. But again, it's I'd rather do the outreach.
Yeah.
Like that's where I start, and it's also not taking money out of your team members' pockets.
Right.
Stuff like I've seen like special edition jerseys that had the charity charity patches,
Absolutely.
and it's like we wore this at this tournament, and then you can like enter a raffle or whatever to win that gear.
Of course, yeah. So, purchase this gear, whatever. Proceeds go towards this charity. That can work as well.
Exactly.
That would be awesome.
I do like that.
And then, I mean, and I'll always I'll always argue that the people doing charitable work for us should, they should be able to get something out of it. So yeah, you can say like, look, we're supporting this charity. It's good PR. It's good. It looks good on the team.
It's never wrong to support a charity.
Never
right.
It's never wrong.
Yeah.
And it gets your name out in sections of the communities that maybe you might not normally reach.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Because again, a lot of my tabletop people, no idea what's going on in esports right now.
Well, I'm just going to bring up an example. Shattered Dreams, they use charities very well to get their name out there, and they're very involved in a lot of different charities. And I think they're a very good example of how you can incorporate charities in getting awareness about your team. So
their entire team comes to stream on certain days for certain charities.
Yep. Exactly.
It's amazing.
Yeah. Okay. So that's good on teams. Let's drill even further down into competitors. What can specific people who may or may not be associated with teams do?
Again, you've got a platform.
Yeah.
People listen when competitors talk, so you can use some of that time to talk about your charity of choice.
Yeah.
Again, you can use some of your proceeds, whether that's I'm going to give a portion of my winnings from this tournament, or I'm going to give a portion of my subs or whatever,
right?
To like just directly support. Also, like being able to show up and talk like at your charity's events and talk and use some of your influence,
right,
to bring attention to the things you care about.
To be an actual advocate, to be able to, actually speak on behalf of, that would be.
Yeah. I mean, I do think it is a very individual choice that these competitors would have to make. For the people who are associated with teams, it can go toward their team. They can kind of help foster that. And then the people who aren't, and that's kind of the people that I'm curious about, who maybe don't stream, who maybe don't have much of a public presence, but definitely win tournaments and definitely participate and practice. I feel like it might be a nice idea for those competitors individually to learn about different charities and things that they can kind of hold ideals toward. And then look at how to speak with organizations or with those specific tournaments on how to contribute their winnings.
How to give
like
back.
If you are a competitor in a community and you can speak to tournament organizers and teams. You can try to influence them to do some sort of charitable work to advocate, to get them to advocate for the things you care about, as well as being an advocate yourself.
We were talking about this earlier. If you're an influencer, you're winning tournaments, or you're a part of a team or anything, you said you have a platform.
Yeah.
Use that platform, and if you don't want to donate, or maybe you don't have time to go to like certain events on specific days, you can probably go for Extra Life specifically. You can probably go to Sick Kids any day that you're free and just go learn about, some of these causes that you can maybe help with, or talk to the organizations and just go there. And
that's
great
part of the reason
content.
that we have guilds.
It's also great content.
Like the whole point of the guilds is to like to offer that point of contact, because let's face it, our hospital reps, I love them. They're not gamers, right? And so we have enough information about what the hospital does and what CMN does that we can be that point of contact,
right?
And still be able to sit down and have a conversation about what's going on in whatever game you're playing right now, and communicate at that level as well.
Yeah, that's a great place to start for anybody really, for the average person out there. Get educated.
Awareness is its own currency.
Yeah.
And then make a video about it, because we want to see you doing the good in the world.
Make a video, tweet about it.
Just talk. It gives you free good PR.
Yeah.
You're doing good for the world, you're giving back, and you're also growing. It's like you said, you can't go wrong with doing it.
No.
Just take advantage of it.
I guess this is also a kind of way to say, if you are competing and you are successful in that, share it.
Exactly,
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah.
Whether it's about charitable situations or just personal brand. Like if you're winning tournaments, that's a platform for you. So
Tell people
use
about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Tell people about it, and then while you're at it, let's do it for a good cause.
Yeah.
I like that. So we've spoken a lot about streamers, and so
Yep.
I want to know specifically let's look at specifically streamers now. What can they do? What have people been doing? Is there anything that's super cool that you've seen that streamers can do?
I mean, we have 3 or 4 people streaming here right now from the event.
Yeah.
Extra Life is actually really well integrated into the streaming community. We have tools that make it super easy to help you raise your money. So I know a bunch of streamers who today it's like, yeah, I'm playing for 24 hours,
Right.
and I'm gonna be wrecked on Monday when I come back on for my regular stream. So like, there's that, but there's also just again talking about it.
Yeah.
Some of my favorite streamers don't necessarily do a lot of events. They'll do Extra Life and maybe 1 or 2 others, but it's the fact that they talk about it.
Right.
During the year. So it's like I have Extra Life Game Day coming up in a couple of months. So this is what I'm thinking, talking to the community about what you're planning, getting your community involved in what you're in, helping you plan. What games do you guys want to see me play? If you're a competitor, like maybe your community wants to, if you're a Fortnite competitor, maybe your community wants to watch you play like 2 hours of COD and get wrecked. I mean, because it'll be funny.
It will be funny.
Yeah.
There's no building in COD.
No.
Learn to shoot, kid.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
I think Extra Life also pretty early on during the Twitch days integrated pretty quickly and saw like, hey, this is something that we can do.
Twitch has been a pretty good partner. So like today, if you log on to your Twitch account, basically the front page will be all Extra Life streamers.
Fantastic.
Wow.
So yeah, they've been pretty good about that.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I love that. That's good. You know, I'm just gonna take a second to just soak
Just
that
take
in.
that
I
in.
like that.
Twitch. Thank you, Twitch.
It's one of those moments where you just sit back. You're like, nice,
Wholesome,
You know?
nice and wholesome.
I'll take companies doing good. I'm good with it.
Okay. So the last little bit of what we're gonna do here today, we have a little bit of time left. I want to just get into some more questions specifically for Matt. I know we've been asking you a ton of questions, and we've been trying to pick your brain as much as possible, but I think each of us have kind of developed a few questions that we have for you specifically. So I'm going to start with my first one, which I guess is a very personal one to you. What has been your biggest Extra Life moment to date? You've been here 7 years. What's been your biggest moment?
I want to hear this.
Oh wow! 7 years
My
of Extra Life.
biggest moment to date for me, I don't know. I mean, for me, my friends and I record a Dungeons and Dragons campaign we've been running.
Cool.
It's like just finishing up. You know, very tiny, not a lot of views, not a lot of money coming in, but just like for me, getting my friends together to record and you know, have fun and hang out, and then it's like, oh, by the way, we're doing this for charity.
Right.
Like that's really cool. Getting to hang out and talk with our local stream community.
Yeah.
Like I try to show up to the Twitch GTA events as much as possible, and just like I have a lot of friends now who I met at that event, and
One of the streamers here is the guy who sets that up.
yeah. And he's a wonderful guild member who but we like that kind of stuff where I can show up and just be part of the community where I'm not necessarily planning it, where I don't need to work so much as I'm just an extra lifer who
Extra Lifer. I like that.
I like Extra Lifer. It's very good.
and I can just chat games and share stories and just be a normal gamer.
Yeah.
But on stage.
Yeah, sometimes on stage.
Sometimes on stage, yeah. Okay, Steven, I think you had a question.
I do have a question. I want to know, okay, being in kind of like a management role, there's so there's so many things going on with Extra Life. I know you guys have like tons and tons of members. With all these things going on at the same time, how hard is it to manage that?
Do you have any idea from kind of the level above where you are right now?
We have some really good support, both locally from the hospital. They've been Sick Kids has been absolutely awesome in helping us out this year. Really focusing on getting us organized and getting us getting our events to be the way we wanted them to, where we didn't necessarily have resources before to do it. And then at the national level, we've got a really good team. But like just managing local events, I'll admit, as much as possible, we try to delegate.
Right.
Like, hey, you want to run an event? Cool. What do you want us to do to help you?
Right.
So how many?
But it's still your event.
How many volunteers do you have working on this event here?
On this event in particular, that kind of depends on what you like.
What do you consider?
Yeah, there's 6 of us on leadership. The leadership, like the rest of the leadership team, did absolutely crazy, insane things to get this done.
Wow.
But then, like, we have guild members who just decided, I'm going to run a tournament.
Right.
I want to do this thing. And it's like, okay, cool. And so, or like who brought in stuff for the raffle that we've got running at the back. And I don't know the numbers on the, like, how many different people did that.
Huh.
Okay, well, there's
That's
a
a
lot of
good
people
thing.
coming together.
That's a good thing to know. Like, if we don't know how many, that means there's a lot.
Yeah.
And
is
like some of them
fantastic.
it's really small stuff they've done, and some of it's huge stuff. And I'm just happy that anyone is doing any of it. So
To build upon that, I want to know if I'm a streamer or like a competitor or anything kind of Extra Life related, are there regulations to what I do? Like, are you guys ever worried about somebody maybe tarnishing the Extra Life name if they do something kind of bad? Or is that not really something you have to worry about as much with charities specifically?
So if you are streaming on the official Extra Life channel, we have rules.
Right.
Okay.
Like, because that is a channel the channel is owned by the program. So yeah, it's PG and pretty much exactly what you would expect.
Be good.
Right.
Yeah. On your own channel, we do not enforce anything.
Okay.
And then if you're doing something publicly, especially if you're doing something publicly with the guilds, it comes down to a conversation between us and the hospital and you as the content creator. And so if you want to come up on stage and talk, it's like, okay, what's this person's brand look like?
I see.
Yeah, like, do we want to be associated? Like,
Right.
We're glad you're raising money, but do we want you on
To be,
stage
like,
with us?
direct-
If it
associated.
directly involves you, then you need to be a
Yeah.
little bit more investigative. Yeah.
Exactly. And that's not always a fun part of the job,
Right.
Of course.
because you're looking through somebody's clips or the videos they've got up on YouTube, and it's like,
This is getting a little dicey.
I like you. I would watch you, but I don't know if I want the 12-year-old in the hospital watching you, which is kind of
I don't know if we would do this hashtag for the kids.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to raise money? Cool. We'll help you with that.
Have you ever had to say no or turn somebody away? I mean, we don't have to get specifically into it. I
Yes.
just want to. Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Okay, so
That's fair.
Yeah.
I mean, it happens. Yeah.
Yeah.
But if I'm a streamer and I'm like, whatever, I can still use the Extra Life platform no matter
Yep.
whatever.
Oh,
I
yeah.
just never.
You can raise money. You can use the graphics and overlays provided as long as you fit the branding guidelines for that. Basically, don't change it. Don't change the logo.
Right.
Very cool.
Fair enough.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Fair enough. And then Alex.
Yeah. I had one final question, from a very basic level.
Perfect.
So I have never donated to a charity before. I've just submitted a donation to Extra Life. How is my money spent, or where does it go to?
So, as I was saying
Great
earlier,
question.
All money raised through Extra Life, it goes to unrestricted funds. So the hospitals can spend it however they feel they need to. So here in Toronto, that means Sick Kids is basically spending that money to rebuild Sick Kids.
Right.
I see.
At a lot of hospitals in the US, because of funding changes, that money goes to child life. So it goes to buying games and bringing in staff who play with the kids, stuff like that. It also, again, especially in the States, goes to making sure that these families don't have to pay for the kids being treated.
Right.
So
very cool.
If I were to want to say, say I had a specific interest in cancer and I wanted to help kids with cancer, is there a way for me to do that?
Through Extra Life, not particularly. Again, because the money is unrestricted,
Right.
it goes to wherever the need is most for the hospital at the time.
Right.
Okay.
Is there a place that you can actually see where the money's being spent currently, or no?
Every year we release like a where does $1 go?
Right.
It's very US, very heavily influenced by the US hospitals because there's a lot more of them.
Right.
That makes sense.
So you'll get it's skewed in that way. I know we've talked about getting that kind of information released for Sick Kids. Like, this is where our money specifically from Sick Kids, for Sick Kids, goes. And that type of communication is both important to us, and we found it's really important to people donating.
Yep.
Because people want to know, like, we don't spend money on admin because we're all volunteers.
Of course.
Like,
Right. And then I just wanted to ask one final question, unless Alex had anything more to talk about.
Yeah.
Okay. So my last question. This is for you and for everybody here to listen to. What is the best way? Let's say top 1, top 2, or top 3 best way to contribute to Extra Life. Again, just for everybody, even for the listeners to this podcast, what's the best way to contribute?
the best way is to sign up and play games. Sign up, play games, and ask for donations. If you can't do that, then it gets back to making donations yourself, watching streamers who are raising money to get their numbers up.
Yeah.
Just like your normal social influence type of stuff. But really, it's if you can spare a couple of Saturdays, because you don't have to do this all at once. We're just crazy, right? You can split your 24 hours up. Like pick 3 Saturdays, get a bunch of friends together, and be like, hey, throw in $5 each.
Have a party.
We'll have a party. We'll get some pizza. We'll hang out and we'll play games all afternoon.
Yeah, do what you do, just more consciously.
Yeah.
I love that.
Do what you do and sign up
It's
for it.
It's actually really
It's
fun.
a great excuse to do stuff that you and your friends are always talking about doing, but you're like, we don't have the time. Cool. Here's an excuse.
Here's the time.
Get together. I haven't seen you since college. Hang out.
That's awesome.
I might actually do that. Like,
I'm down.
later this month.
Yeah, we should all do it.
And I
Hey,
say
I'm
might
in.
actually, as in like it's happening.
Where's my invite?
I'll talk to you about this after, but essentially, we absolutely will. All right. So just before we go, guys, any final thoughts about what we've been talking about here today?
No, I absolutely love everything that I've heard. I love learning more about Extra Life, and I'm all about good causes. I'm all about doing things for the good, and I love when I can do something and just build on top of it and do more with what I'm already doing. So that fits right into my personal brand. I'm all about doing more with doing what you're already doing. And I love that. I love that you can just sign up and continue to do what you're doing, but sign up before you start doing it and do something a little bit more consciously than what you're doing already. Instead of just doing it on auto, think about what you're doing and what it can do for everybody else.
Yeah. Alex, what about you? Any final thoughts?
Final thoughts. Actually, I learned a lot today. I knew very little about charities before.
Yeah,
sweet.
I'm on my second day of Movember, first time in my life. So I have never been involved in charities, but I'm learning a lot more. And like what Steven said, conscious gaming, conscious actions. We can do what we're already doing just for a cause.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I like that. Okay, well, for everybody out here who came out, I want to thank you guys for joining us in the audience. You guys are amazing.
Thank you.
Everybody
Thank you
out
guys
here
so
at
much.
Waves, everybody out here at Waves, I hope you guys are having such a great time here at Extra Life Game Day. Guys, make sure you join some tournaments. Make sure you start to game with all of us. Play some tabletop games. Play some Overwatch. Play some
I'll see you in that
games. There's a
Smash tournament
that we're going to go to right now, so that's why we've got to go.
Yeah.
We're coming up at
that's
right
starting.
our time. It's starting 5 minutes from now, so we got to go. Guys, you can see up here for all you guys, you can follow Alex at KrispyKim Donut, Steven at Stevan Petrusic, Mike at StillJustMike, that's me. Or all of us together at Bo3 Podcast on Instagram.
Wherever you get your
And
podcasts.
finally, where can you follow Extra Life?
And
Please
there
tell
you
us
go,
that.
yes.
Extra Life for Kids, and for the Toronto Guild, Extra Life TO.
Extra Life TO.
Fantastic.
Well, guys, again, thank you so much. We've been Best of 3. Have a great night.
Let's raise some money. Let's do some good.